Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse 2 Across the Spider-Verse. Yes. Try saying that 3 times fast or whatever. Yes, today we are going to be doing a deep dive review, spoiler review of the movie. So guys, if you guys have not seen it yet, I definitely probably wouldn't watch this video. Go watch the movie before you do, and then come back and check out this review. Alright, so, what are my thoughts of Across the Spider-Verse? Wow, so I saw the trailer for this one, yes, but I want to get into the end of this film right away. I'm sorry, spoiler review, right? Let's go right into the end of this movie. We got Miles Morales, and this was incredible, right? We got Miles Morales, and he goes back home, what he thinks is home, but actually, if you remember, the spider that bit him wasn't from his universe. He's in a different universe. And here he is, he's talking to his mom. His mom's like, hey, why'd you cut your hair? You know, it's kind of crazy. His uncle's alive. And then his uncle kidnaps him. And he thinks his uncle's the Prowler. He thinks his uncle's going to take him out. Turns out, we meet another Miles Morales that is the Prowler. He was supposed to be the original Prowler. Oh, that is a twist, and I really liked it. And literally, they leave us off on that. It's a cliffhanger. I was not expecting this to be a cliffhanger. Now, I know that they announced that they were going to be making a third movie. But I had no idea what that third movie was about. I had no idea that this was going to be a cliffhanger that's going to lead right into the third movie. You know what it feels like? It honestly feels like I'm watching a show and I just watched the end of the season with the greatest cliffhanger ever, and I can't wait to watch the next season of the show. And that's basically what we have here with Miles Morales at the end of, I'm gonna call it season 2. Of course, the second movie of Into the Spider-Verse, and I cannot wait for the third one. Please just give me the third movie already. I cannot wait to watch it. But we have a whole movie to review, not just the end of this movie. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So, I actually found this really interesting what they actually did with the beginning of this movie. So, the movie from the trailers, this was supposed to be Miles Morales' story, right? And then we get Gwen Stacy. I'm like, okay, are they literally just going to turn Gwen Stacy into the main character of this movie? Are we even gonna get Miles Morales in this? Is this gonna be more of a Gwen Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl movie, which, I mean, I kind of have no problem with, but at the same time, while I liked her character from the first movie, I wanted to see a Miles Morales movie, and I was more interested in the Miles Morales storyline. So when the movie started out with just Gwen as basically the main character of the movie, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm still gonna watch it, I'm still interested in Miles Morales, but what is this? Is this not gonna be a Miles Morales story? What are they doing? I was actually really shocked and really surprised, and it really kind of, went above and beyond my expectations for the movie, when it turns out that, yeah, this is a Miles Morales story, but, I really liked how they did it, because you know how like, for a really weird example, Star Wars Episode 7, I thought was gonna be a Finn story, right? And it turned out to be Rey. They kind of did that, but they kind of did it right, because this story is both a Miles Morales and a Gwen Stacy show, which is great because when it comes to Gwen, she was one of the best characters of the first movie as well, but it starts out with her story, and how she ends up losing her best friend, Peter. Remember, this is a different universe, so Peter Parker doesn't turn into Spider-Man, she does. And he turns into the Lizard. Now, eventually she has to fight the lizard, and because of that, she ends up, well, killing him, and that's when her dad gets involved. Her dad is a cop, and her dad, goes crazy trying to stop Spider-Man because Spider-Man killed his daughter's best friend, not knowing that his daughter is actually Spider-Man, and then eventually he finds out about it. That's when the movie goes crazy, and we actually get introduced to another version of the Falcon? This guy, I swear, this was actually really great to see the Vulture. I know I said Falcon, but I said the Falcon as a joke because he really reminds me, just the way the suit looks, it reminded me of how the Falcon from the Winter Soldier kind of looked, the suit did. I feel like the Vulture design-wise was incredible, but he really wasn't much of a villain in this movie at all. He was just kind of a cameo villain, but he was really cool. He kind of bumps in. Turns out he's from another universe, and that's when Spider-Girl, Gwen, goes after him, and we actually learn from there that there's a whole multiverse of Spider-Man, and we see this one Spider-Woman on a bike. She was cool. I really don't have too much to say about her. Like, she was powerful, she was cool, but there really wasn't anything for me to talk about with her. But I'm telling you what, the other Spider-Man that we meet, oh my god. So I thought what we were going to go on with this movie is I thought we were going to have an evil Peter Parker. I did not know Miguel is his name. I did not know Miguel was going to end up not being Peter Parker. I thought it was going to be just an evil Peter Parker. He's doing all this big crazy things with the multiverse, but he's actually a bad guy. He's kind of like Thanos. And no, actually, yeah, he's kind of like Thanos in this movie, I'm not going to lie, but in a different take. Because you know how Thanos was evil, but for the right reasons, right? He was trying to get rid of half the galaxy. Why? Because he thought that was the best way to make sure that the galaxy never runs out of resources and people can live a bit happier with less people in the world. Which, as sadistic as it sounds, yeah, no, that's just sadistic. That's just terrible what Thanos did. But it's for the right reasons, right? And we have something similar with my boy Miguel here. Miguel, basically, after finding out what happens if he changes the quote-unquote canon of Spider-Man in his universe, he wants to make sure that that never happens to any other universe. The canon of Spider-Man apparently is that the main officer, the captain of every Spider Squad is apparently supposed to die. And Miles Morales' dad just made captain. So now, that means, according to canon, his dad's supposed to die, and that's where conflict comes in between him and Miles Morales. Miles is like, okay, I now know that my dad is probably going to die. I have the ability to go change things. And you are stopping me because apparently that's supposed to ruin the universe? Well, then there's the question of whether he should, because now he's putting one life, his family, but he's putting one life versus everyone in his entire universe, right? He's putting one life over everyone else in the entire universe. If he stops the killing of his father, then the entire universe gets destroyed. And Miles Morales is right. Miguel doesn't know that. There might be a way, there could be a way to change things. That's what he needs to do. He wants to change things. He doesn't want to leave it up to just fate. He doesn't want to leave it up to just canon. He wants to write his own story. That's the thing. Miguel, I thought was just gonna be an evil Peter Parker kind of character. I did not think we were going to go do this type of character with him, and I ended up really liking him. And I'm pretty sure by the end of the next movie, he's probably going to end up changing his mind and becoming a good guy, realizing the error of his ways, and realizing that Miles Morales is right, because I do think Miles Morales at the end of the day is going to end up saving his dad. I really do. I can't wait for the next movie, if you guys can't tell. But that was incredible. Oh boy. And again, I just boiled basically what the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is pretty simple. There is someone in the multiverse causing trouble, and this is crazy because from the trailers, the Spot. Okay, I am, a Marvel fan, and I used to watch the 1990s show of Spider-Man, and I know the Spot. The Spot was actually one of my favorite Spider-Man villains that never really gets any big role, because he's just a side villain. Who cares, right? No, he takes the full reins of this movie, which is fun. It's incredibly good, and the fact that the reason why he becomes the main villain in the first place is only because basically Spider-Man Miles Morales decides not to take him seriously and treat him like a Saturday morning villain, just a side villain. Was fantastic. And his whole motivation in the movie is he doesn't want to be just a side villain. Sorry about that, technical difficulties, but we are back. As we were saying, I really enjoyed the Spot. I really enjoyed how his whole thing was just him trying not to be just a side villain. He really wanted to be the main bad, and his powers were so cool. So originally his powers really are, he takes a spot off his body, slaps it on something, and he's able to use another spot to make a portal between the two spots that he uses. And he starts out the movie just doing that, stealing the bank, but here's the thing. Because he's the guy, the scientist that ended up kind of trapped in the whole multiverse thing that happened last movie. Yeah, now he has the powers not only to make portals between just two spots. He's able to literally go into other universes. And once he discovers this power, yes, he overdoes it a bit, overuses his powers, but then he charges himself back up, and with that, he's able to basically, run amok throughout the multiverse. And that's the thing, we are trying to capture him. And Gwen is the one who is in charge of actually tracking him down, and while she is trying to track him down, she ends up meeting Miles again. She ends up running into Miles again because she goes back to that universe to hopefully find any information about the variant, which is of course the Spot. And this is where the whole movie just basically takes place, right? We got Miles Morales back, and I really liked how this story really kind of folds into that whole family thing that Miles has been going on. I mean, here he is Spider-Man, and it just goes back to the old days of Peter Parker, right? I love it. It feels like the story of Spider-Man, but it's not a total ripoff. It actually feels like a cohesive and interesting tale. That's something I love about it. We have Spider-Man, we have Miles Morales dealing with the fact that on one hand, he's Spider-Man, but on the other hand, he's a kid about to go to college, and he's got his family to deal with. His dad and mom are worried about him, worried about what he's doing, worried about what he's not telling them, and they just want what's best for him. And I love the fact that this movie does two things. It shows both sides, because here's the problem with a lot of movies like this, right? They only show one side of the argument, and they barely ever really make a connection between the two sides, right? You have the one side, which is a kid who's doing all he can to do the best he can, basically. And then you have the parent who is considered the villain of the villain side, right? The antagonist side, who thinks they know it all, and that the other one needs to just listen to them. I kind of feel like almost a really good example of this, actually, is the whole Nemo situation, actually, because on the one hand you have Marvin dealing with the loss of his wife and his journey trying to get his son back, and then you have Nemo's whole side of thing of him just trying to grow out of the anemone. Literally, I would say nest, but no, they're fish. It's an anemone, and trying to find himself. And I just love Nemo's one of the best movies. I just love Nemo, right? And it's the same thing with this movie, basically. We show both sides. We show the sides of the parents just wanting their son to do what's right, but they don't know that they have nothing to worry about, because their son is Spider-Man. You just can't tell them that he's Spider-Man. And it's great with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, running around as Spider-Man. It ends up trying to take down the spots, and we have his dad right there trying to catch the spot as well together. They don't even know. Miles Morales doesn't even tell his dad that's him. He doesn't know that he's Spider-Man, and there's this scene in the movie where he just lays it all out, how worried he is for his son. And Miles Morales, I really like what he says here. Miles Morales is kind of like in the Spider-Man voice, trying to act like he's not Spider-Man. He's like, well, you gotta let the kid fly at some point, because that's the thing. That's what he wants to do. He wants to spread his wings. He wants to fly. He's old enough. He's grown up. But of course, you have the worried parent, and I just love seeing both sides of that connection. And it makes sense because the whole thing that's going on with Gwen and how that compares to Miles Morales, and eventually how that compares to all of the other Spider-Man as well. Fantastic writing. I'm sorry, just fantastic writing. I haven't even talked about the animation yet. Animation, top tier, amazing. They even go into the Lego world for one scene. That was hilarious. We end up visiting the Lego world. That was hilarious to see that with Peter Parker going beep boop over his watch. That was funny. But yeah, overall, I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about when it came to this movie. So let me know down in the comments below, guys, what do you think of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? I actually think this ended up being a fantastic film, and I cannot wait to see Spider-Man 3. If you can't tell by my excitement throughout this entire video, I'm definitely a Miles Morales fan. Now, I'm always going to be a Peter Parker guy. I'm always going to be a Peter Parker. I grew up with the original Spider-Man movies, the first ones that came out with Tobey Maguire. I'm always going to be a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan, but I can definitely say this, I really enjoy Miles Morales' story so far, and I cannot wait to see what the next one has in store for us as well. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this movie? I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna give this movie a 10 out of 10. Fantastic. And with that, I am out. Bye.
Subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.